You know the jazz, all the jazz. You know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and all that jazz. But if you were making a big amount, oh, that was really bad English, that we're going to finely mince. Ooh. And hopefully not maim ourselves in the process. Right, let's make some duck breasts in pan sauce. Now the pan sauce is going to be orange, it's going to have orange in it, but this is not going to be duck à l'orange, because that takes that's a whole different thing. This is just a couple of duck breasts, I'm going to pan sear them, make a sauce, make a pan sauce, and I'm going to have it with a carrot and swede in between a mash and a puree and some steamed broccoli. But that's just going on in the background, you can know about it. What we're going to do, what we concentrate is on the duck. So, and we're also going to go through making a pan sauce, which works with any sort of meat. Normally, where you'd probably start with a warm pan, especially with a steak, you want it really hot when you hit that thing. Duck, you want to start with a cold pan. First of all, this has been in the fridge for a couple of hours. I cut the skin, I cut a bit deep in some places. I've got a knife, I resharpened my knives, I didn't realise just how sharp they were. So you want to just score through the skin. Load of salt, both sides, stick it in the fridge for a while just to let it dry out and help almost cure it. But what we need to do is we want to pat it dry, just so that we're not putting a load of moisture in the pan. And then what we're going to do, skin side down, like I said, in a cold pan. We put in there just a couple of sprigs of thyme and a semi-crushed clove of garlic, just in that dry pan. And we're going to turn the heat on. So we're going to just put that on a medium low. We're going to cook it really slowly so that we can render a load more fat out of that skin, because duck is very fatty. So you want to render as much fat out of there as possible. In the meantime, we've got on the side, we've got some chicken stock. You can make some duck stock if you want. I mean, that's up to you, but chicken stock, just really, there's about 200 ml of chicken stock there. Small glass of white wine. A bit too much of it. But, so, we want to go with a dry white wine. This is an unoaked Chardonnay. Sancerre or Chablis would be perfect. Also got one large shallot that we're going to finely mince. The shallot you want really quite finely minced, only because it's going in the sauce, so you don't want big chunks of shallot left over. Quite a lot here actually, we'll probably get away with a bit less than this, but we'll see. I'm doing this, as you can see, with just 2 duck breasts. I'm going to put the ingredients below for 4, so that way that's a dinner party's worth. Well, not a dinner party's worth, but you know what I mean. The process will be exactly the same, it's just you'll have to put twice as much into the pan. So it doesn't take too long. We're probably going to go maybe 6 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes on one side, 3 to 4 minutes on the other side. When we get to a certain point, I'll show you what you want the skin to start looking like when you turn it over. Only have a little bit of prep work we need to do is we want the juice of, for 2 duck breasts, we're only going to need a quarter of an orange and a quarter of a lemon. That lemon's a bit of a different lemon. So we want the juice of a quarter of an orange and a quarter of a lemon. These are navel oranges, so they're nice and sweet. And hopefully quite juicy. I'm only making a half serving with 2 quarters, so I'm just going to squeeze it straight into the pan. It's a lot easier if you need to use half an orange and half a lemon to squeeze it, to juice it properly. Right, pro tip, I'm going to have a look at the Dutch dish, but it's still a little bit stuck to the pan, right? That means it's not ready to turn yet. So if you just leave it a little bit longer, that skin will caramelise and naturally just pull away from the pan. See that lovely skin started to crisp up. So like I said, that was about 5 to 6 minutes on that side. There's not a hell of a lot of fat in these duck breasts, but there's a bit there. So what we're going to do as well is we're going to just baste the breasts with that fat that's been infused with the thyme and the garlic. Kind of like you would with a steak. Even lay the thyme on top of the breasts as you baste them if you want. Leave that going for a few more minutes. Right, so our duck is just about done. It's going to come up a little bit. Carry on cooking a little bit while it's resting. Take the garlic out of the pan. That, along with the thyme, can just go in the bin unless you want to compost it. As we've been over this multiple times, I can't compost just yet. Alright, anyway. Duck on the plate, resting. Now we want the fat in this pan out of the pan, but it is illegal to throw duck fat away. Well, it's not, but it should be. It's not too much in our duck there, but you want a pretty much dry pan. Save that duck fat. It's perfect for frying in. Roast potatoes, I mean, you must have had duck fat roast potatoes. So leave that to one side. You'll probably have a lot more in 4 big duck breasts than I've had in those 2 little smaller duck breasts. But we're going to put that back on a very low heat. And we're going to go back in with, I only need about half of these shallots. I'm going to go in there with them. And our small glass of wine. Which, for me, is probably more like 2 tablespoons. And we're just going to get everything up off the bottom of the pan and deglaze. And that's going to help build a load of flavour in our sauce. The best sort of pan to do this in is stainless steel. Carbon steel or cast iron will work, but the problem is where we're adding lemon juice and orange juice, that can really strip off your seasoning. And a non-stick isn't going to get that same level of fond on the bottom of the pan. So we're going to cook off that wine for a little bit and and let the shallots soften up and cook down a little bit. Right, so after a minute or so, once the wine's cooked down, we're going to add in our 200 or so ml of stock. And sprinkle in out probably about 2 teaspoons of flour. And whisk that all together. Keep it whisking, make sure you get out any lumps. You don't want a lumpy sauce. Now, as we heat this and cook it, it's going to reduce down and thicken. So now's the time we want to go in with our half an orange of juice, half a juice, quarter, or in your case if you're cooking the full lot, half an orange's worth of juice, and our lemon juice. So this is a lot more subtle with its citrus. Duck à l'orange would be a lot more of an orange taste. This is a bit more reserved with the orange and the citrus. I'm going to give that another mix and stir. You can see it's already starting to thicken up for us. This is just a pan sauce. So if you were cooking a steak, I think I've done it before, like steak Diane's pan sauce. You deglaze the pan, you add in some flour, you add in some stock, and you add in what flavours you want, and you just keep that reducing down and thickening up. You can do this with a chicken breast instead of duck breasts. Obviously, they're going to be a little bit pink, but a chicken breast you'd want to cook the whole way through, obviously. Right, so we're pretty much almost there. Best way to tell whether your sauce is done or not, get the back of your spoon and dip it in it. And then if you can run your finger through the sauce and it keeps that line, the consistency is good. But obviously, taste for flavour. Needs a little pepper. And a tiny little bit of salt. There's a fair bit of salt in the duck breast. Oh, quickly. Any resting juices left over from whatever meat you're resting should always go back into the pan at the end, just to boost that flavour up a little bit. Okay, right, turn that heat off. That'll keep itself warm enough for now. and we're gonna plate up. So got broccoli on the plate, as well as like a nice little bed of our carrot and swede mash. Now I'm just gonna carve the duck, and I'm gonna cut this on the bias, just because it looks pretty. So it's a little bit pink. Duck can be pink, it's not like chicken breast. Obviously you don't want it raw, but you can have it blushing a little bit. Cut it on the bias because it looks nice. Same for our other little breast. And just want to arrange that on our mound. You can see how lovely and crispy that skin's got. Just put that on there like that. And now to sauce. Now you don't want it swimming in sauce. I would say that'll do, but obviously it's your dinner. You can put as much or as little on there as you want. Tell me that don't look pretty. Proper haute cuisine, fancy. But yeah, pan sauce. It's one of those sort of things. It's really easy to learn how to do, but as soon as you learn to do it, it makes you really. Do you know what? I know how to cook because it's a proper like cheffy thing to do. Like you get your meat out. Any meat's going to need resting. Maybe not fish, but you wouldn't really. I don't really know if you'd make a pan sauce for fish. But steak, pork chops, is brilliant with. I might do another one with a fennel and apple cider pan sauce as well. Just maybe make a series of different pan sauces, meats and different pan sauces go really well. Steak, I've done steak Diane. Duck, this isn't duck à l'orange, but it's a duck in an orange pan sauce, and it's really nice, quick and easy, lovely jubbly. I'm gonna go whack that down because that's my dinner and I'm starving. Well, there you go. It's another one knocked out of the park. Quick and simple and easy. Looks proper fancy, looks proper cuisine, but as you and me now both know, it is a piece of the proverbial. Took next to no effort, next to no ingredients. Get yourself some nice oranges, get yourself a nice bit of duck breast, a few other bits and pieces. Bob's your auntie, Bob's your uncle, Robert's your mother's brother, Bosh, and all that jazz. But yeah, I'm going to go eat this because I'm starving, and I'll talk to you when I talk to you. You know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe, and all that jazz. And I'll see you soon. Buenas. Adios. See you later. Bye bye.